Roadales has always stood out to me as kind of a strange diecast release. He was dropped in the middle of the Piston Cup series in 2016, the only pit crew member there that year, and it was really odd to see out of the blue a brand new Piston Cup hauler cab be made. Nowadays, we're quite a bit more used to that. Nowadays, we get new Piston Cup pit crew members every once in a while, and we've gotten multiple new hauler cabs, since after the release of Eric Roadales. Of course, we haven't gotten any of the last few years because we haven't had deluxes the last few years, but we got several new ones in 2017, 2019, and even a new one in 2021. Back in 2016, though, when Eric released, this was kind of unprecedented. In fact, I believe he was the first new Piston Cup cab we got since, 2009 or so. So in addition to him just kind of coming out of nowhere, another weird thing about Eric was the fact that there was already a Nitroade cab out there. Yeah, Nitroade hauler was released in 2009 and 2010, and in 2016 when they decided to release the cab, they didn't just re-release the cab that came with the hauler separately like they used to do. No, instead they made a brand new cab for Nitroade that looks basically the exact same, but with a new facial expression and the sort of plugged-in hauler hole there, which they started doing for cabs around this time. So they went out of their way to make a brand new cab as a new release, a variant of a character that we already had in hauler form 6 or 7 years prior. It's really strange, really interesting, and it surprises me that they decided to do this instead of just doing a new cab for a team that hadn't gotten a cab before. Eric Roadales definitely stands out as a bit of an anomaly when it comes to Piston Cup pit crew members, and I'm very happy to add him to my collection and review him today. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Eric Roadales, another car that I got last Christmas that I'm very excited to take a look at here. Usually when I'm getting cars online or for my birthday or for Christmas, I look for ones that I could use in videos, what would be a good one for Cars Adventures or stuff like that. But when it comes to Eric Roadales, I mean, sometimes I just want an item because I want an item. I like Nitroade. Nitroade's cool. I actually don't have any other Nitroade pit crew members, and most of them tend to be pretty expensive. And like I said, Eric's always stood out to me as a really unique release, so very happy to have gotten him. Eric's artwork here is pretty solid, but it's really funny if you look at his hauler artwork, because the artwork for Eric's hauler is actually this exact same thing. They just cropped out the hauler and just took the front and put Eric there. A very clever reuse of resources on Mattel's part there. And it looks perfectly fine here. Very, very nice. Got the Cars logo, Piston Cup logo. He's a deluxe in the Piston Cup series. He was number 12 of 14. And of course, since he is a 2016 release, we have the Cars Daredevil Garage app logo there. Of course, really nice Piston Cup background this year. I'm not sure if I've said this before, but 2016 is one of my all-time favorite years for the Cars diecast line. It might be my all-time favorite year, and I think it had a really, really nice packaging. I love the speeding by background for the Piston Cup, even if it doesn't make all that sense for a car like Eric here, who's just kind of casually sitting in the middle of the track. Eric, look out! Now, So on the back of the packaging here, we have a kind of inaccurate description. I remember a lot of people being kind of up in arms about this at the time. That the back of the package actually gives you a description of, the LA Speedway with a picture of the LA Speedway. The King, Chick Hicks, and Lightning McQueen compete in a tiebreaker race to win the Piston Cup Championship. Probably should have been something a bit more relevant to the opening race instead of the final race, since this is just the generic Piston Cup series with all the racers from the start. You can see McQueen, Clud, Scruggs, Hall Ingas, and James Cleaner. Man, this was a really good year for Piston Cup racer re-releases. Collect all 4 in the Piston Cup series. See the complete collection at the Mattel website, and of course, also the lovely Daredevil Garage app. Hi, Daredevil Garage app. I haven't seen an item with your logo on it in quite a while, so nice to meet your acquaintance once again. I hope you've been well. Of course, this is before it completely took over the packaging, probably just a few waves after this, in all honesty. Now, I've heard Eric's name. Wow, wait, hold on. Wow, he just came off the packaging super clean. Look at that, barely damaged it at all. That is really, really nice. Wow. I mean, now he's damaging this part, but the part where the artwork is. Wow, I'm really impressed by that. So anyway, as I was saying, wait, hold on. This is one of the most clean removals I've ever had of a Cars diecast, other than this part. I always try to save the packaging to the best of my ability, because I do keep and collect my card backs, but look at that. If you ignore that, that is really, really nice. I've heard Eric's name pronounced a few different ways over the years. I remember hearing some people pronounce his last name Roadales. I'm going to stick to Roadales, although, of course, there is really no official pronunciation, so, you know, to each their own on that one. So here's Eric out of the package, and man, it's just so cool to have a new Piston Cup cab in my collection. It's kind of crazy. It's one of those surreal moments opening a car. It's been quite a while since I've gotten a new cab, and it's really, really nice to have this one. We do have a pretty generic expression here. I do like this expression, though. I definitely much prefer it over the original, where he's kind of looking off to the side a little awkwardly. It is nice to have a bit of variety in expressions with the sort of looking off at the side look, but I felt like it always looked a bit off. Maybe the pupils were a bit too far apart, I think. But he does look really, really nice here. In terms of color scheme and graphic design and everything, the two cabs are nearly identical. I always felt that this one looked a bit lighter in terms of color scheme, but since I don't own both of them, I really can't gauge that, quite frankly, so I'm not entirely sure. I do really love the black paint with these sort of sparkles embedded into it. It looks really, really good, and also does a pretty good job at matching the racer Aiken Axler, as you can see there. Now, this is my original, like, 2006 Aiken, so might be a little different. 2006, 2007. So it might be, you know, a little different in terms of color scheme, but this definitely matches the color scheme of more recent Aiken releases, I think, with that sort of lighter shade than I think the original had there. Nitroade logo there on the hood. I really like that it's kind of yellowed. It's not just a, like, flat, stark white color. I think that works with it being kind of the cap for the cab. Very similar to what we see on Mac there. Got all of his lights up here. Rear view mirrors, big ol' grin. Again, I really like that expression compared to the original. Number 28 on the side, and you can really see that, yeah, this is kind of a lighter color than you may expect. I don't have a Thailand Aiken Axler, so I'm not sure if the color is still consistent, but I definitely remember this does look pretty consistent with Aikens that were out around 2016 or so. And Aiken was out in 2016, which is great. You could get these two guys together. I always find it really, really odd when racers and pit crew members are out in separate years. Like, we just had Mandy for Interbender, and Mandy was not out the same year as Greg Candyman. And I know Greg Candyman was out at the end of 2023. I know. And then Mandy was announced. But Mandy released in, like, one of the last cases of 2024. So there was a really, really low chance that you would see them together at the same time. So I always do appreciate when a racer and their pit crew member are out at the same time. Another thing I really appreciate is that the haulers always have unique mud flaps. Mine looks like there is some strange gunk on it, and I don't like that. That's kind of gross. That's probably just glue that's left over. I got it off. And I always love that the mud flaps are personalized. Remember, every copy of mud flaps is personalized. Wonder how many people are going to get that reference. I always find it so fun seeing how they fit the different Piston Cup logos onto the mud flaps. Here it looks a little awkward. They decided to put the Nitroade logo there diagonally so that it could fit better. I think I probably would have preferred if you rotated it so it was just horizontal, but that would make the logo a little bit smaller. Really, really unique license plate. I really like the sort of yellow and white design. 87R58E. I can't make out the text above it, and I would not be surprised if it's reused from another hauler, unfortunately. But it does look pretty unique to me. Hopefully it's consistent with the previous releases of this guy, and if not, then oops. What's not consistent with the other releases of this guy is, of course, the hole to attach him to haulers is plugged in, something that is quite frustrating, especially because this release served as sort of an update to a pre-existing hauler, you know, a pre-existing cab that only existed with its hauler. So if you had the old Nitroade cab, this guy's not going to connect to him. They're just going to have to awkwardly balance it there, which is a shame because, like I said, I think he really is a great upgrade. Now, it seems that my eye decal is on a little weird. I've just noticed that there. Look at that. Is it like a little bubble? That's really interesting. I don't know, guys. Got weird gunk on the back. Got a little bubble in the eye. It seems that my Eric Roadales may not be perfect, but that's okay, because I think, like I said, he's a really great release, and it's always so fun to get a new hauler cab in the collection. I hope to get some more soon. There are actually some surprisingly cheap hauler cabs out there A lot of the 2009 ones are not that expensive. When you think haulers, you immediately think, oh, they're ridiculously expensive. But a lot of the cabs are rather cheap. Of course, you can't do much with just the cab without the hauler, but still, they are always nice to have to help build up that team. I'm very happy to finally add Eric Roadales to my collection. Funny thing is, I was actually supposed to get him all the way back in 2017. A few weeks after I started my channel in September of 2017, I placed an order from the Toys R Us website, and I was gonna get Eric Roadales, but I didn't, and instead I got Studs McGirdle. So the circle is now complete. Toys R Us is gone, but Eric Roadales is now in my hands. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.